Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for being here. Now, this is going to be a really special show, a very authentic, transparent one. I have been watching Jennifer Arnese for quite some time. She has not been aware that I have been a large fan of hers. And apparently she's heard of me too, but Jennifer Arnese is the lead of the proprietor of the guru of the Black Mother Wound. And before we start, I want to also congratulate you on your Black Effect podcast honor. So Jennifer, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. My honor. You're gonna make me cry. We just turned the camera on. I'm like, I'm sitting
Yes, ma'am.
there.
You have been so helpful, like I said, to so many, and particularly since we're leading up to Mother's Day. This is one of those topics that I think is incredibly sensitive, but I know that there are a lot of women who are out there who this will help and bless. So, first of all, let's talk about what is the Black Mother Wound.
I guess first I will talk about what a mother wound is because the term has become more popular in social media and it's kind of been co-opted and people are going to make it what they want it to be. A mother wound is a gender-based generational trauma passed from the mother to the daughter, and it is caused by the patriarchy, and it shows up in the ways where a woman has been robbed of her autonomy basically because she has a vagina. She is less than human. It is a dehumanization, right? And then the mother passes that down to her daughter because she has to teach her the survival skills, right? And but she's also passing down her frustration, her resentments, and all of that trauma to the daughter in a in hopes of teaching her how to maneuver in the world,
Hmm.
right? So we have the patriarchy, which is in capitalism, right? And the Black mother wound is where the patriarchy and systematic racial oppression intersect. So now we have not only the trauma of being a woman, but also the trauma of being Black, the trauma of Jim Crow, the trauma of chattel slavery, how that has informed a woman about who she is
Hmm.
and how that impacts how she parents her daughter. It does also impact how she parents her son too, but you are passing the mother wound down to
Hmm.
your daughter because she also doesn't have autonomy. And I
Hmm.
also like to let people know it's a spectrum. It doesn't mean you have a terrible relationship with your mother. My audience is for women who I say are who are in triage. They're in the emergency room. Like there's an acute pain, an acute toxicity and trauma around the relationship with the mother. But if as far as I'm concerned, all Black women have a mother wound, right? Because you can't get out of patriarchy or racism. But you can have a close relationship with your mother and y'all talk often and you trust her and she loves you and y'all kiki, but her lack of autonomy has been passed down to you. That is the wound. So
Hmm.
I don't know how to make that definition any shorter.
No, that's good. That's good stuff. I think it's good to have context. So
Yes.
now let's talk about how difficult Mother's Day can be for women who, outside of the definition, but who have toxic, combative,
Mhm.
hurt,
Estranged.
estranged, hurtful relationships with their mother. But in some cases, they show the picture of, we're so close. Oh, we love each other. Happy Mother's Day. Da, 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 da.
They send a
And then,
beautiful Facebook post.
yes,
Right.
how is managing that?
There is no shame like the shame of not feeling loved by your mother. And that shame is the root of the performance because you believe in order to be a good person, you have to have a mother who loves you. You have to have the close relationship with your mother. If not, you are a broken person.
Hmm.
And who wants to be in that club? I want to be in the club with me and my mom. We had such a great time this weekend. We went here and we did that. And I called my mom and I went to her house and she watched the kids. And everybody wants to be in that club.
Hmm.
And when you're not in that club, it's like sitting on the bench watching the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You are on the outside of life. And
Mm-hmm.
it's crushing, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So how do you even, you're not even admitting what's happening in your real life. So on Mother's Day, you have to, but you're probably also performing in other ways, right? And I just want people to stop. You don't have to you know what, Mother's Day is a great day to start. It's a great day not to make the post. Just, you know what? I'm not even going to post about Mother's Day today. I'm not even going to post. It's a great time to say, Mom, I'm going to stop by for 30, 45 minutes, but I'm not going to spend all day with you. I'm not going to church with you today. It is a great line in the sand, right? You might say, you know what? Well, I got to send her a card, but you're not going to send her a card to say she's the best mother in the world and she's done everything for you. You're just going to send a card that says, I hope you have a great Mother's Day. Always your daughter. Like, it's like, because there's levels to it, because if not, I feel like you're jumping off a cliff and you're just going to die. But I would just like people, it's a perfect day. And I would love for people just to perform a little less and see what that feels like in their body and how they can start to hold themselves and see what truth feels like. Right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, but let me ask this though, because because some women have been performing for so long, when you do that to a mother who is perhaps narcissistic, whatever she is, that is going to trigger her, lashing out, her abusive tone, her whatever, fill in the blank. How does one manage that?
Put your phone on do not disturb and don't answer it for 24 hours. You won't have to ghost her. Like, this is radical. Healing is
Mm-hmm.
radical. Becoming free is radical. It is not polite. It's going to be seen as disrespectful. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be seen as you don't even have what, you ungrateful, you spoil. You're going to have to be able to own it. Well, I'm just going to be that then, right? Because nobody can lash out at you if you don't answer the phone or you don't answer the door. This is, you have a lack of autonomy. This is how you start to build your autonomy. You cannot make somebody happy and make yourself happy. You cannot do it. That's why this is life changing work. There is no easy way. I don't come with any, you already know, I don't come with any easy answers. Put your phone on do not disturb. Go
Mm-hmm.
out of town on Friday and come back on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
You do have to have a strategy for it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all. And you just got to take it step by step. You just need to stay a step ahead of it.
How did
Right.
you get here, Jennifer? How did you get to the point where you are so no nonsense? I know it comes from the relationship with your mother, but just to my audience, just kind of give them a synopsis of how you ended up arriving here.
First of all, I have always been no nonsense. My whole life, I have been like this. And I have been chastised my whole life for being like this. Um I haven't talked to my mother in 10 years. She hung up on me because she said I was being disrespectful when I was trying to help her solve a very big problem in her life. And I think at that moment I realized she thought that I was trying to take something from her. I realized, like, oh, after 40 years, you don't trust that I'm on your side. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, this has nothing to do with me. She does not have the ability. And my whole life flashed in front of my face. And I said, nothing I ever do will be good enough. And that you have no right to treat me this way. I have always been on your side. I have always been a good daughter. I have always rode for you. And I have been fighting for your approval. All this click up, hello. And she wouldn't answer the phone, and she stopped speaking to me. She basically stopped speaking to just about everybody. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that call humiliated her, even though it was just she and I on the phone. But
Mm-hmm.
in that moment, it was like my life flashed through my face. I was like, oh, hell no. And I also saw how it was impacting my whole life, because at this time, me and my son were in the process of going through a homeless program. I was college educated. I was smart. I had experience. I knew how to get a job, but I could not hold my life together. My choices, It was just so, I was like even though I was 40, I was still like a teenage mother because that was, the crux of my trauma was that time. And I said, "Oh, Jennifer, you can't move forward until you heal this. This is the answer. This is your Achilles heel to every problem in your life right now. Is not to change her, but to
Because you can't,
you
and
cannot,
you never will.
you never will.
She is who she is.
It is. And that's why my work is not about healing the relationship you have with your mother. It is about healing the relationship you have with yourself. That is the only relationship I care about. And I only advocate for the little girl in you. I don't advocate for the mother. I advocate for the little girl in you. I will I will talk shit to grown up you if it will get you to advocate for the little girl in you, because she's the person I care about. I ain't thinking about grown up Jaquetta. I'm talking to 9-year old. You tell me what you need, 9-year old, because I'll put
Mhm.
this adult version of you in a headlock because I'm not playing. And that's what she needs. She wants to know somebody has fought for her.
Yes.
That's what she wants to know. And I want to teach women how to fight for their little girls, right? Because that's what you wanted your mother to do. That's what you still want your mother to do, not realizing you have the answer, you have the power. So I have always been my mother would say long time ago, she would say, "Now, one thing about Jennifer, she ain't gonna sweep nothing under the rug now." And I don't, because it makes me feel, when I don't feel safe, viscerally, it's in my body. I collapse. I will go literally into a closet and close the door. I will find the smallest space to curl up in. I remember sleeping behind my mother's bed up next to the wall because it was the only way I could get some type of relief. And that relief will make me not want to exist. That
Mhm.
will make me want to say, "Well, if I wasn't alive, I wouldn't feel like this."
Mhm.
That's what I lived through. And so
Mhm.
it's so radical now because it is life or death, you know? So that's how I got to be like this.
Did you ever sometimes wonder, like, I wonder if my mom is somewhere else? Like, this is not my real mom. I'm probably, I belong to somebody else, because there are women, I believe, who probably have voices just like you had, but their mothers had a way of clamping down on it. So even if you wanted to shout or express or whatever, it would have been met with a slap, a cursing out, to the point where over time your voice, there was no voice when it came to being combative with your mom.
I mean, I was met with all of those things. I can, what this is what I will say. I always say there are windows in our life, right? Where, because
Hmm.
we're born free, emotionally, mentally, we're born free. And there's a window where that can get cemented in us and nobody can take it away.
Hmm.
And I do credit my father, even though our relationship, after I became a teenager, our relationship really just went south. But he advocated for me. My father
Hmm.
he used to say to my mother when I was 3, 4, 5 years old, "This is not how you're supposed to treat your daughter. Why do you treat her like this?" So it was never
Hmm.
a secret how she treated me. And he would tell everybody, you know what I mean? And so I always knew. And so what he allowed, this is why I always advocate for sometimes just leaving your kids alone. He just let me be free and wild. I'm from the country.
Hmm.
So he didn't care how dirty I got, what I had on. He would like run through the field, far back as you want to run, and then come back. We would ride go-karts. So there was a sense of me having like, oh, I know what this feels like. And I had someone who protected that feeling for me. Because my mother, when they got divorced, my mother left and she didn't take her kids with her. So
Hmm.
I lived with him, and he was like a George Jefferson, Muhammad Ali type of dude. He'd be like, "I'm the shit, so you my daughter, so you the shit." That confidence from him is what I think saved me. Because if not, I'd probably be a crackhead in a ditch somewhere. She really did. Um, because she knew how to suck the life out of you.
The reparenting component, giving yourself all of the things that when you go over your childhood that you never got, or scenarios that you would have played differently if you were the mom. So talk about how important reparenting is of your own self, and how does one do that?
Reparenting is critical because your mind does not know time has passed. So the pain you felt at 5, 11, 15, 17 still exists in present tense. That's why you have somebody say something that comes back, is like they say you're overreacting, but they don't know you have gone back in time. And the only
Yes.
way you can come out of that is to go back to those ages and rescript what should have been said then, because that little girl is still waiting for someone to say, "Oh, that was not your fault." And for somebody to say, "She
Hmm.
should not have acted like that. I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm so
Hmm.
sorry that happened to you." Because our nervous system is so out of whack. There is no sense of safety at all.
Yes.
And without safety, there's no sense of trust. Without trust, there's no true confidence. There's no true peace. So you're in this internal conflict. You could be smart, have ambitions and dreams and potential, but the side of you that's like, nobody's ever going to be there for me. Nobody likes me. I can't do this. I'm on the outside. I'm crazy. My ideas are no good. It's going to always be clashing up against the logical of, why can't I make this work? Why can't I seem to get it together? Reparenting builds a relationship because your little girl is running your life. You're not
Hmm.
running your life. She is running it. And so when you can get her to calm down, and she knows, oh, Jennifer is not going to let anything happen to me. Jennifer is going to take what my needs and my wants are into account. Oh, because what is what I tell my little girl: you go play. Your job